In a studio that's in a basement comes the epic story of how two friends changed the future of the movie podcast game forever. The reviews are in. Boys Life magazine gives the High Sci podcast 4.5 acorns. The Daily Bugle says, these guys are super legit. And Pope Francis declares the podcast as life-affirming. From the kid who tried to get smart with David Spade and got fucking old.
You're still out. You're still bad.
And the guy who can name all four Baldwin brothers.
Alec, William, Daniel, and the baby boy, Stephen.
Live from the studio of his parents' basement. The Have You Seen It podcast.
Hello and welcome back to the Have You Seen It podcast. My name is Mason Knight and sitting across from me is the one, the only, Cash Kraus. Cash, how the hell are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Pretty good.
Yeah, surviving 2021, which
Cash.
is pretty much just an extension of 2020.
I'm not just surviving, I'm
Yes,
thriving.
thriving.
Let's not forget that.
I got to tell you, man, it's not catching on.
I have not seen
I've
one
been
single
walking
hashtag.
the streets, and not a single person has.
Maybe I throw
has
that
said
on
it.
our next poll.
Maybe because you're the
Do
only.
we survive?
You're the only one surviving right now.
I am. Believe it or not, I invested heavily in GameStop. I am a multi-millionaire.
Oh my God! You know what's crazy is, which is nothing to do with this podcast. I don't want to go down to that rabbit
The
hole.
stock market rabbit hole.
But I was telling Tabor when we were fighting, I said, yeah, because that GameStop thing all came from Reddit.
Yes,
Wall
it
Street
did.
Bets. I was telling him, I'm like, yeah, it's going to blow up.
Guess the next one.
It was already blowing up. It's either Nokia or BlackBerry.
No, it's AMC Theaters, which is relevant to the podcast.
Yeah, but
That's the one on-
that's got nothing to do with Reddit.
Yes, it does. It's all over Reddit right now. The stocks have gone over 200% up just today.
Yeah, but that's not because of Reddit. They got $100 million loan. AMC did that said they weren't going to go bankrupt. Yeah,
Oh,
that
okay.
happened like a week ago.
Well, I'm investing in AMC.
Well, you should have done it a week ago.
Well, probably when the stocks were $4 or $5.
Yeah, I don't know if you
a pop.
heard that it's not buy high, sell low. It's
Buy low, sell high.
There
Yes,
you go.
I do know the
So
philosophy behind.
I'm not sure right now. AMC's peaking, so I'm not sure right now if you'd like.
I do have some money wrapped up in crypto too. But we are here today. This is our Namaste
Wednesday.
and we are doing a very interesting film this week, The White Tiger.
Yeah, and I always want to call this film Eck the Tiger.
Eck the Tiger, yeah.
This is not Eck the Tiger.
No, it is not Eck the Tiger.
This is
There's
not
not a
Eck.
lot of action in this one. You don't see who I think.
I can't remember. Eck the Tiger was a long.
It was a long time ago. We reacted to that,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, well,
nonetheless.
The White Tiger. This is a long time coming. We
It is.
reacted to this trailer a while ago.
Yep.
But it's finally out. It just released January
Friday.
22nd.
Yeah, this last Friday.
Just happened. But yeah, it's in, I don't want to call it an Indian film because it's an American Indian, like,
I think
Combo?
it's like a combo, kind of like Extraction. A little bit where it's got.
I think this is more on
More-
the Indian side.
See, that's what I don't understand. So
than
people were
Extraction.
commenting saying that this was an American film, but it is based out of India and has Indian actors.
Yes.
How many Americans do you see in this? Not too
None.
many. So I'm going to classify this more as an Indian film. And
Well, they're only classic because it is produced by an American company.
yes,
But everything about it is Indian. Although it is about 50-50, I would say, English to Hindi language. Because they speak English a lot, but they also speak Hindi a lot, too.
Right.
Where Extraction was 100%
English.
English.
Yeah. There was like a few
That
subtitles.
was a much
like-
more American film than this one. But yeah, it's a joint production, I think. I don't really know the behind the scenes. But yeah, it feels like it has a real American influences, obviously.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. This is based on the New York Times best-selling book by the same name, The White Tiger.
Yeah, and it was this film was was kind of being touted as India's Parasite.
Yes.
Before I saw that, that's the phrase I was seeing being thrown around a lot. This was comparable to, and I would say that's probably mostly because of the themes have to do with a lot of class or caste, what they're called in India.
Yes.
You're either low caste or high caste.
That is one of the things of this film. One of the highlights for me is really understanding the caste system a little bit better.
I still don't understand it very well.
No, I know, but if it's
very
it's portrayed accurately for what India has, like for caste systems, it was definitely a shock to me. But before we jump into that, let's talk about the stars of this film. We have Adarsh Gaurav, which, if I'm not pronouncing that right, my apologies, but I really thought he was phenomenal in this. But then it's got two big names that we really know.
Yes.
And that's Raj Kumar Rao.
And they were perfect in this. Especially for not being the leads. That's a perfect casting in my mind.
This was one of my favorite serious roles for Raj Kumar Rao that I've seen.
He's good in it.
Because
although he's funny at times too.
Yeah, he is. But there were this character specifically I wanted to love. And I wanted him to do the right thing, and his character was so conflicting.
Yeah, that's the whole thing about the couple that is Raj and
Priyanka Chopra, who plays
she's in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, she's amazing too.
But yeah, that was the real. It's like, are these people nice or are they shitty people? The whole time you're like, at first you're thinking, oh, they're kind of this new wave, new generation of Indian where. Every generation that comes along thinks less and less about class. Yeah.
And more progressive and more just like, all right, this is a human rights violation. Some of the things that we're doing here. Why?
But at some point, they were like, how could you hit him? And then they were hitting him at times.
Yes.
And it was very
hypocritical of those characters, too. And they tried to be better than but then they were doing the exact same things when they were upset and stuff.
Or when they were around other people, they were like, had to put on this facade about... treating the help how you got to treat them, I guess. And that's beating the shit out of them.
Yeah, and just treating them like literal servants.
Oh, yeah.
Even to the point where
slaves,
I
would say. Slaves, is more of the word. Servants is like you're getting bad. These people, I mean, they don't ever get days off. And if you fucking steal from them, they'll kill your whole goddamn family. That's the thing, is wild.
Yeah. That's why, if that really happens, that is just insane.
You just hope you have a small family.
Yeah, you do.
You don't want
or a family you really don't love. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, because that was I don't know. And again, we don't know how accurate it is because we're not from India, obviously. But I don't know how accurate it is of them hiring you. But before they hire you, instead of like checking your references, they go and find your family so they can murder them if you steal anything.
Yeah.
It's quite the process to get hired.
It is, but I mean, at the same time, too, that forces the lower caste to submit to the higher caste at all times because you have that threat, that constant looming cloud over your head, knowing that your whole family will be slaughtered.
That's what I thought in my mind. It was more of like just like a boogeyman that they tell the servants or whatever, like, you better be good or they'll go and they'll kill your whole fucking family. Turns out, they will go and kill your whole family.
They will.
Because it is implied at the end, spoiler alert, that his family was murdered.
Well, he looks at that newspaper and it says 17 people slaughtered. They really did.
They really did. Fucking, it's a high risk to go and kill an entire family. And then
it is.
For no one. You got to be really powerful.
Yeah.
To not have to worry about that.
This film is not perfect, but... it was a very compelling story, and I really enjoyed this movie. I thought the acting was phenomenal. I thought the pacing was overall good. There were some slower moments, and it took a lot to build up to the climax of this.
Yeah, and then it ended really quick.
Abruptly,
which,
yes.
It is based on a book.
It is.
And for sure, I haven't read the book, but you could just guarantee that the book expands a lot more on the parts that you thought it would you would want to expand on. And that's the thing is, you talk about pacing, although the first probably hour and a half is before it gets to the real climax, but it's not boring. It could easily have been boring, like for him to finally get up the courage to stand up for himself, but it's not boring because of what we talked about that conflict of Raj and his wife treating the servant,
Pinky.
Yes, treating the servant in a way, and then their dad, who's leader of the Stork family. So that really keeps you kind of entertained. And then the transformation of his mind. At first, he's like, "Oh, this is great.
Yes,
like this is
I was born to serve."
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the mentality that they get in
because they metaphor this chicken coop a lot.
Yes,
and about how chickens, even when the coop's open, they don't fly out.
Right. And that they know they're going to be the next chicken slaughtered, but they still do nothing to try to get out.
Which is not true. Chickens are just really dumb.
They're just really stupid.
They have no clue what's going on.
I did like the analogy overall in that. And not only that, too, but, we talked about the slow build-up. It took about an hour to really get to a significant point. But they did a really good job with the details of explaining the caste system and understanding the perspective of someone from a lower caste. And that's what I thought they did a great job on.
And it keeps you entertained with these other kind of almost political drama, but it all folds into class and whatnot. I'm talking about with the socialist leader.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Her scene was fucking awesome when she first comes in and she's asked to talk to him. And the dad of the stork. So there's like this socialist leader that's about to be voted in.
The great socialist.
They never say a name. I don't think.
They call her the great socialist, though.
Yeah, well, like she's more than a party. She probably has a name also.
She probably has a name.
But yeah, so but the Stork family is this really high up like mining family. I kind of get at. They don't really get into detail, but they're meeting with the great socialist because they're eventually going to want to pay her off and make sure. But she tries to talk to our main protagonist, and they immediately yell at her for trying to talk to him. But she flips the fuck out.
She does.
Hilarious.
And then she fucking
throws it, and she spits the nastiest.
Yeah.
Like she must have some chewing tobacco.
She has some chai.
She has
just right in the back here where no one could see, and she's like, I'm unloading this.
Like, fuck this. Yeah, and that's it. That's like the last. I mean, that was like their one shot of getting good with her.
And then
she's socialist. What the fuck do you think?
Right? Yeah.
She hates rich people. Yeah.
Treat people with respect too. I mean, that's the worst thing you could do in front of the great socialist.
Yeah, this is the great.
This is the great one, not just
which is kind of counterproductive
socialist.
to call a socialist the great one
socialist,
when they're supposed to be kind of dividing.
Yeah,
there shouldn't be one socialist better than any other.
Everyone else. Yeah.
But I really enjoyed that scene, and those kind of scenes are peppered in that first hour and hour half to keep you into it until you get to the.
Well, I love the car scene too with the great socialist because she gets in and they're like, "We're willing to offer you 1 million rupees," and the guy goes, "Isn't that what you offered our opposition?"
That's much later.
He goes, and then she's like, "No, we want 4 million and we want it tomorrow."
Yeah,
I was like, "Oh yeah, fuck yeah, that's what you do. That's that dirty politics money, baby."
Yep, but yeah, there's a bunch of scenes like that keep you into it until you get to the midway point, or I would say even the crescendo. It really comes out of nowhere of them hitting the kid. Eventually, the couple,
because that's how the film starts, and I liked. Sometimes it can be a little risky to tell a story like this, but
Balram
really
is the main character's name.
Yes, which is played by Adarsh Gaurav, which I hope I got that somewhat close. But I love the storytelling in this because we see him with Ashok and Pinky, and they're driving, and it looks like they're best friends. He's dressed up, in like royal clothes, I'm assuming.
Oh, yeah, that's right at the start, right?
Yeah, like he's getting married or something. And then, boom, we hear him hit something, and then it goes back in time. I like the way that they told that, though, because you kind of thought that those two were going to be great people to him, and they were friends, and that never really was the case.
No, not
so it
at
kind
all.
of threw me for a loop, but it was good.
Even though they were progressive, they knew that they had to like toe the line of like, because even if you're rich, at that point, you still want to have a dividend or have a divide between the working class and you, because most rich people are pieces of shit, and it's pretty on par for this film.
Well, yeah, I would say so.
All the rich people are pieces of shit,
really
and even when Balram becomes a rich person, that's kind of the character arc, though, is he goes full circle and he becomes the shitty person.
Well, but I like the ending because, quote unquote, the shitty person, yeah, he did, spoiler alert, he did murder what's it? I keep getting that name wrong. It's Ashok.
Yeah.
He did take his name, and murder.
Well, I'm not talking about that as much as his
white tiger.
Well, and his
taxi
entire
cab.
family died.
Well, yeah, that.
So
but again, like he
ran
talks about
away.
that. He goes, he had one of two choices. You have to be the bad guy because you don't have a choice in that caste system. You got.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He went full circle until he became the bad guy.
Right, but he wasn't the bad guy in the sense of the way that he treated his employees. They weren't supposed to be. He wasn't supposed to be like a father figure to them. He said, "They're just my employees. They come in, I sign a check." So at least he's treating his drivers well.
But you remember he went
supervillain.
He went into that town, bought off the cops, so the cops would fire or ruin every other business. So he began
Right.
So he's not. Although he's treating his few employees, he put maybe thousands of people on the streets because. So maybe he's treating 20 guys nice.
And hey, he's
but he
treating-
put out a lot of people out of work just to get his car service up and running.
Well,
so he was
sometimes
the
you got
only.
to do what you got to do. I mean, you got to like. If
I
you're
know, but it's not a point of what you got to do. It's a point of is this guy good or bad, and at that
that's the
point he
conflict,
becomes
though.
bad.
Yeah, because I mean, it depends on perspective.
Well,
I
if
guarantee
you're
people
his
from-
perspective, he's probably
right,
thinking
he's probably
pretty
the good
good.
guy. Yeah, and he's made a lot of
But
money.
I think anyone else's perspective thinks he's probably a pretty bad guy.
Maybe, unless you're lower caste. And then you realize, well, yeah, that's what you got to do because you're not going to get out of it. And rich people fuck people over all the time. You look at the stock. I mean, we were just talking about stock market.
I
and
know,
stuff.
but it
these
does not make it
fucking
right.
Short sales and stuff.
Yeah, I was
no,
gonna
it
say
doesn't
happens a
make it
lot.
right. But
It does
that's
not.
how the world goes around. Some people just got to get ahead. It's not good. I'm
Yeah.
not saying it's good or bad, but sometimes you just got to get ahead.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't think you should let your 17 family members get murdered, and I don't think maybe you should go to one town and put hundreds of people on the streets. But
So what's the alternative for him then? Live in poverty, live as a servant his whole life?
well,
That's the dilemma there.
I know, but I mean, in my mind, there's ways. You're supposed to be able to get wealthy without having to murder someone. I would say there is an
I
alternative.
didn't really say there was. I really didn't think there was a way though that he was going to be able to do that.
Yeah, well, we didn't see. Well, he was making money before he murdered people too.
Well, he was ripping them off.
Yes,
The rich people,
just not killing people,
which is still technically a bad thing to do.
yeah, but just not murder. There's a
Wow.
there's a toe of the line there.
Yeah.
I don't mind, you ripping him off and paying off, ripping money off and stuff like that. But once you got to start killing other people, you got to take a step back and be like, well, is it worth it? Is it?
But
is me
the
being
way
rich?
he was treated for so many years, do you not sympathize with the character at all?
Yes, I do. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, as far
yeah.
as like killing someone.
Yes. But he'd still, I guess, technically be thrown in jail, even if you could sympathize with him.
Right? Yeah,
I guess in a
absolutely.
court of law,
Absolutely,
they're
yeah.
going to be like, well, he had to do what he had to do.
Right.
Technically,
So, I mean,
it does not. It's not.
you should let this guy off the
it's,
hook.
yeah, it's not an argument
No.
for like.
No, I
Be like-
take the morals out of it.
That's the kind of thing is I got to keep the morals in there.
You do,
Yeah, I got.
yeah. Because you know me, I'll just rip
Yeah,
those
the,
fuckers.
the
off.
part about him murdering Ashkok, I had no problem with that.
Yeah, I mean, the guy was an asshole.
Yeah, that had to happen.
And that was the thing, like with Balram's character, is he wanted to serve, he wanted to do the best possible. He kept saying, "Oh, you're like a father and mother to me." He was very servant-esque, like no matter what. But then he started seeing Ashok and how Ashok over and over again. He was trying to be his friend, and this was one of those very pivotal scenes when they're talking, and Ashok's only got Balram, and they're like buddies, and he's
When they're in, like, the
comforting
little
him.
shack,
yeah,
right?
consulting him. Well, and even at his home when Pinky left,
Right.
and he's consulting him, and they feel like they're friends. And then as soon as the bodyguard or whoever shows back up,
Mongoose.
Mongoose, yeah,
Right? That was his
I
name.
think so, yeah. Well, he treats him like absolute shit. He tries to make a meal for him, and he smacks it out of his hand and tells him to get out of here, and you stink. And it's like, but that's when you really see the wheels turning in Balram's mind, where he's like, you know what? No matter what I do, I'm just a servant to these people. They manipulate you. They use you until they don't need to use you
They were
anymore.
smart. All the servants would rise up, gang together.
Yes.
Don't start taking out each other. Rise up. You got to eat the rich. You got to
Exactly.
fucking take over. But
That's a common theme throughout the world right now. I think people are starting to wake up to that.
yeah, but you got to get out of the coop.
Yep.
Right? That was the
Get out of
metaphor.
the chicken coop. Yeah, I know. You got to get out of that.
I still couldn't remember. I can't remember the metaphor greatly, but it was something along the lines of getting out of the coop. But yeah, it says screwing over each other, which is pretty much how you have to get rich. Is you have to start screwing over servants first until you can start screwing over the rich, which sucks because it's counterproductive.
It is a little bit.
I
would
think
say.
it makes more poor people and less rich people when you're doing that. But yeah, he eventually gets up though. I mean, he eventually gets up the courage. But my God, it's not. I don't think it was the abuse that sent him over the edge though at all. It was the hitting the kid that definitely sent him over the edge.
When they make him sign a confession.
Yeah, it wasn't. I think if he kept getting abused, he would just. he knew that's how it was. I think he would stay the servant forever.
Mm-hmm. But it's probably a combination of everything.
Yeah, but I think that's definitely that's definitely the peak of the film, is the turning point of when you see him kind of break. And it's a very tense, it's a very good scene how they shot it. Because as soon as like she gets in the wheel, you think something's going to happen. Because at first they just take off.
I know.
And I'm like, oh my God, dude. I'm like, that. Well, yeah, I never got
fuck with them all the time.
I never got the feeling that they were truly trying. Because even when they're like, birthday party, they go to a club, he's
sitting in the car. It's like, okay, you guys are
watching
assholes.
through the window. It's hilarious. But I never got it felt to me like more like, oh, we should be progressive because it's kind of like the thing right now is to be progressive. But they didn't really
act upon that.
They didn't really want to hang out with him.
No, of course not.
I remember one time he had a dirty shirt on, and they're like, "What the fuck? Get away from me!"
Yeah, when Pinky's talking to the woman, and then he comes in, and he's got an itch. Every man gets an itch down there every so often.
Oh, is that what he did? Yeah.
What are you doing with your hand? She's like freaking out, and then she's like, "What's on your shirt?" She goes, "You are a mess, and your breath stinks. You're stinky. Get out of here." She's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. My servant doesn't normally act like this," and it's like, you fucking bitch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I know it's a character, obviously. Chopra is a wonderful human being, I'm sure, but
we don't know that. She probably has servants.
She probably has servants too.
But it was a ton of scenes like that where it was like you were never supposed to feel like these were good people, and at the end of the day, they're looking out for themselves.
You are right. You never thought they were going to be good people, but I think as the perspective of a viewer, you were rooting for them to be good people, but they never were.
Yeah, exactly. Because he can't fucking.
Because I felt myself.
Because it's the kind of thing where you kind of start feeling is like in their mind, we start being nice to one. Mm-hmm. We got to start being nice to all of them. We got to start paying all of them the right amount. We got to start, then you let everyone out the fucking coop. Yeah.
And going back to that confession scene, I thought this was a really great scene, and it really put a lot of things in perspective for me of how all these rich people do is take. And then once they get what they want out of you, you mean nothing to them anymore. And the scene specifically is the next scene. Balram comes back into the house and he's like, massage my feet. Why the fuck are you late? You piece of shit. You know what I mean? Just calling him terrible names.
This was after he's fucking took the dive
for the took the fall. And then they treat him just like a slave again. When he came into the room for the confession and they're like, oh, no, don't do that. You're family now, Balram. You're family. You're a part of us. You don't have to kiss my feet. You don't have to do any of that. And then the next scene, he makes him get on his hands and knees and massage his calf muscles.
Yeah. Weird fucking...
Shows
I was hoping
how
at some point he was
use,
just going to fucking slaughter this family. Mm-hmm. I thought he was going to snap at one point, and then I was going to be like, yes, I want to see that more than him just get rich. Yeah. I want to see him get actual revenge on these fucking...
Especially on the mongoose.
Yeah, that's what I really want. I want someone to fucking... But no, unfortunately, he pretty much lets him off unscathed, although they do lose a son.
Yeah, Ashok. Yeah.
They do. But yeah, film with this family, it's not a big deal. It's more monetary than anything. So, I mean, you just got to find another guy to start bribing, which he was not good at bribing. Just throw the bag of money in the car and just head out. From what I know of India, you can't really trust that. I mean, even the cops will come over and fucking rob you. So, you can't really just trust. But he wasn't. He was just a rich, spoiled kid.
Yep. And the thing with Ashok, too, is like, it was really funny throughout the movie. He would do these little small gestures, I feel like, to make Ashok feel better about himself. For instance, when he gets out of the car and he sees Balram and he's like, oh, I can tell something's wrong, And I love the perspective. I thought the shooting was really unique on this because Balram answered him what he actually wanted to do. I want to break your skull in. I want to smash your skull in with a hammer and take your money. Right?
Yeah.
And then it goes, and then it goes back, and then it's him giving him enough money and saying, well, take a vacation, go see your family, and it's all on me. And then it gives him enough rupees just for a one-way ticket. It's like, dude,
because really they were trying to replace him at that point.
Exactly.
And early on, you get the hint. Well, not even hint. He's worrying about it, and that's also a tribute to be like, at this point, what do I have to lose?
Yeah. These people use
besides them murdering my whole family, which he never seems that upset about.
No, he didn't seem to like his family.
The family was kind of
they were a little pushy.
Well, they were using him as well with like, okay, we're gonna send your cousin. Now we're gonna send your fucking wife, and she's gonna ruin fucking a lot of shit.
Well, and remember, the family was pissed when the cousin showed up, and that's when they were really going to replace him because they sent him out the building, and then they see his replacement come right on in.
Yeah. Now he's got this. That fucking cousin, though, he has no idea, won the lottery. He got out
really
maybe a
did.
day.
But they showed that really well when the kid was like, no. He goes, Belram asked him, he goes, do you ever miss your mom and dad? And he goes, I think today's a good day for ice cream. He goes, that's only for weekends. He goes, today's a good day for ice cream. But that shows me that the kid is content and happy with getting the things that he wants more than he is missing mom and dad.
Yeah. It's not good. It's not
I'm not
good.
saying it's good. Again, take the morals out.
I know, but you just assume that kid's going to grow up to be a fucking monster.
He's not going to be a good person.
Or maybe he becomes an ice cream man.
Maybe.
He finds
Just
love for ice
the
cream and
passion
he
of ice
shares that to everyone.
Opens
but
an
I
ice cream
cannot.
parlor.
But I think that was kind of showing you that already he's raising the next generation of rich to not care about those kind of things.
Right.
Like we're talking about, to throw all morals out of it just to be able to make it to the top and be able to just sit by and be like, yeah, my family is all fucking murdered. 17 of them dead.
That's a lot of people.
But I never had ice cream before. So
true.
that is one thing.
Once you get a taste of that ice cream,
that sweet, creamy,
never
maybe
the
some
same.
Ben and Jerry's, Funky Monkey or whatever.
31 baskets or whatever, 31
Baskin
flavors.
Robbins, yeah. So, maybe they do have a flavor that overcomes the sadness
That
of
is
having
true.
your entire family murdered.
Yeah.
They're good.
They are good. It's good. Good brand. Good ice
But
cream.
yeah, that was kind of since I got the end was he was just raising another stork family and kind of this endless vicious cycle of class warfare pretty much. It just continues.
It is. It does.
Especially it's going to continue until someone becomes rich in another way besides just fucking everyone over. So someone else is going to have to break out there, which of course there is people in India, but it's very rare, even when we know it's very rare for even them to get into really good fucking schools. Even if you're a genius, you have to win the lottery to get into a good school, which is insane because in America we have so many dumb kids that if you're good at even reading at a 4th grade level, they'll send your ass to Harvard.
They will. It is sad though. They're starting to take out those programs in public schools.
Well, every program?
The ones for the smart kids.
Yeah, they've been shaving
Which I think is a terrible
Our
idea.
education system is broke like everything else in our fucking country. Yeah. Is there anything left in schools besides math and
No.
and science and shit?
history,
There's no art anymore. The band is gone.
Well, there's no funding for art. I know that
there's no funding
personally.
for anything. Yeah.
Yeah, so overall, how did you like the film, and would you recommend this movie?
It was good. We have to talk about the time length.
Yes. 2
that-
hours and 8 minutes.
That must have been real American inspired.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a perfect length for it. It was good. It was I wouldn't call it Parasite good,
Right, of course not.
but it was really good as far as Indian. Of course, we're going to get backlash for calling it an Indian film.
It's fine. It's fine. Because, essentially it is. Yes, it might have been U.S. backed production-wise or produced, but overall, the Indian actors, Indian setting.
Yeah, I know. Not an American director. Produced by an Indian as well.
Yes, and Priyanka Chopra even produces film as well.
Yeah,
and
so-
also produced by the director Ramin Bahrani. So
Exactly. And yeah, so it's I don't know. It's an Indian film in my mind.
I think so
But
far,
it's one of the better ones we've seen for sure.
I think this is the best Netflix film we've seen this year, easily. And I actually walked, and that's not saying much for Netflix, but I walked.
You thought
away
this
from
was better
film.
than Pieces of a Woman?
I did, yes. Wow. I really enjoy. There is something about these stories like Parasite, like The White Tiger, like Wolf of Wall Street, that I just absolutely love. I love the stories from coming from the bottom and ending up on top. There's something just magical about it, in my opinion. And I really enjoyed the way they told this story. I thought it was. I thought the script writing was good. I thought the storytelling was great. The acting, awesome, top notch.
Yeah.
There were a lot of things that I really enjoyed about this film. I would highly recommend this to a lot of people. And I think too, Cash, I think this is a great film to introduce Americans to kind of Indian cinema.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, it's kind of like a midway point, a halfway to dip your toes in and test the waters because you're getting it's for one, it's in English.
Yep.
So that's going to help a lot of people.
Because those damn Americans don't like to read subtitles.
No,
Oh my
but you're
God.
also, you're getting exposed to two of the biggest stars in India.
Yes.
So that gets you kind of familiar with, the faces and stuff. But yeah, I would agree. It's a good starter film if you want to dive into Indian cinema, for sure.
Absolutely. All right, Cash, do you have anything else on this?
That's all I got.
All righty. Well, guys, that is our review for The White Tiger. If you guys like what you've seen here and you're watching on YouTube, please be sure to like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification as we drop videos here every single day. It is crucial that you guys like and comment. More interactions mean more subscribers, and we can grow this channel even more. If you guys want to follow us on social media, you can follow us on Twitter, Seen It Podcast, Instagram, Facebook, Have You Seen It Podcast, or Have You Seen It Podcast, and if you guys want to listen to this podcast in audio format, Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Stitcher. And if you guys want some Have You Seen It merch, you can find that link in the description below. Thank you so much for watching and listening. My name is Mason Knight. That is Cash Krause. And until next time.
Bye.